Hey everybody, I'm in my math classroom and I thought I'd just give you a shout out. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you like them, go down and check out teachhoops.com down in the show notes. It's a great place. It's a great resource for any coach, youth, high school. You'll love it. And I just wanted to give you kind of a plug for that so you could go check it out. Thanks. Okay, today we're going to talk about something I do preseason. I call it my preseason homework. It is one of a boatload of things that we do with our team as far as building team camaraderie, um, building kind of similar, feeding off of what we talked about yesterday, which was the foxhole test. This is dealing with team goals. So if we could talk about this, I give them this as homework. I want them to I print out the sheet. I want them to take it home. I want them to think about the questions, discuss them with their families, with their friends, and then be ready to talk about them on Friday. And then we come together and as a group, we discuss them. So going through them, it's like first one is imagine at the end of the season you're sitting at the basketball banquet. What would you like to have said about your team? What do you want me to say about the team when we're done? What's our goal? How would you like to be remembered by the third grader at your elementary school or the fans that show up? Um, you know, Maybe it's just getting older, but how do you want to be remembered by your teammates, by yourself? You know, what is this journey going to look like? What is it that you want to get out of the season individually? Johnny, what do you specifically want to get out of the season? Um, Provided that everything comes together, what could we achieve if we really set our minds to it? What should our end goal be? And recently that's been a state championship for us. Early in my career, like I've said before, it was, excuse me, it was maybe having a winning season. So, um, where do you see yourself fitting into this team? What do you see as your role? Um, do I see myself as a defender? Do I see myself as a scorer? Looking at the above questions, list 10 defensive rebounding goals it will take to get to the above level. For example, I want to take 2 charges a game. I want to be able to stop the defender. So when I do that, I'm looking for specific things for them. So they're having to process and analyze those specific goals. And again, what happens is, it doesn't always happen, but I send an email to the parents and say that we're doing this. This is kind of a homework assignment. I want them discussing it with their parents. So I have the parents initial it at the bottom. I want them to go home and talk to their girlfriend. I don't, community. Sometimes we'll do this over Thanksgiving weekend in the sense that that's obviously a great time in our country for community. And then we come back and we throw it out on the table. And, all right, Johnny, how do you want to be remembered as a team? And then we'll sit and maybe I'll have everybody go around and read them. Maybe I'll pick people to do it. It again depends on the group and the dynamics of the group. But a wonderful way to put early everything out on the table. Here's what you want to be. Here's what we want to be. How are we going to go about that? And then that's and what's how this is kind of morphed into this sheet at this point is then I don't care. I don't care how many points Johnny scores. I want us to win basketball games, and something that tends to be more concrete are those defensive rebounding things more than the offensive set. Now, there are some times where, okay, I'll say, Scott, of your 10 defensive goals that you're going to have, and we narrow those. So I make them list 10, and then we will narrow them to 4 or 5, and to even 2 or 3. And sometimes it will be, Scott, your goal is to get 4 offensive rebounds and then 2 putbacks. So that's 2 separate goals. So again, it depends on the group. It depends on what you need from your specific group to motivate them. But have found this very helpful over the years. All right, today we're going to talk about game goals, and then I'm gonna kind of branch off on Monday or Tuesday and talk about kind of the individual goals. We briefly talked about that before, but kind of how I've tracked it and how I've made it something concrete for them to be able to do, keep track of in their lockers and stuff like that. So I will do that one next week sometime for sure. But let me move this because it's kind of irritating me. So game goals. What I really want to do, I just want to make sure you can hear this. I lost my sound there a little bit, and I didn't want to tilt it out so you can hear. So, in their scouting reports, I always put game goals, and this is an old one I just kind of pulled up. I think there were 1, 2, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10. 10 has always seemed to be the magic number for game goals. But, everything from bench involvement to 15 offensive rebounds. And when I've done these game goals, I've tried to be as specific as possible. Obviously, talking in defense, is kind of open-ended. But, excuse me, over the course of my long career, if we have gotten 7 or 8 of these, we win all the time. 6, we got a really good shot. 3, we're going to probably lose. To kind of put it in perspective. But again, you have to look at your opponents. When we play one of the teams at the bottom of our league, it's going to be obviously different than when we play somebody at the top of our league. But you gotta. We've all done this, and I definitely can help you if you're having problems with this. But you got to make them as specific as possible. And like I said, this isn't, probably 3 or 4 of these are maybe we knew we were gonna win the game, or no points on out of bounds plays. That's very concrete. I can look at every out of bounds play. Did they score? So it's a great way to keep track of specific things and to hold them accountable. And then we put them up in their lockers so they can see them all week or whenever we're playing a game. And then we talk about them. Like, if we're not doing these things at halftime, I'm bringing them up because we're not going to win. So be as specific as you can. Print them out. Let them see them. Plaster them all over the locker room. Here are the keys. And to be honest with you, probably 10 is too much. 5, you probably come up with 5 things. If you do these 5 things against, Podunk U, you're going to win. And we probably all know what they are. So, but the key is you have to talk about them all week. You have to reiterate them to them all week, and they have to see them. So text them, remind them, put them in the lockers everywhere you can. Hey, we're not rebounding. We're gonna have 58 fouls more than 12. So you got to keep reiterating to them over and over and over. This is what we need to do. Here's why we need to do it. This is how we're going to be successful. And then I think good things are going to happen.